Hello everybody, welcome back to my story. So I know the Q&A is going to be a little bit late due to some technical difficulties here at the command center, but got everything solved, everything in order, and so I wanted to get this thing done and get it uploaded for you guys. We are well into that 500 mark, and I want to thank each and every one of you that has subscribed to this second leg of the 539 journey. It's been an excellent adventure here on the second channel, and I'm looking forward to how everything progresses here over the next year and all the things and all the crazy videos that we're able to make over here. So let me get straight into the Q&A. Got my questions pulled up here on my phone. So the first question comes from Tamara, and she asked, how do you find places to film? And it's not any one way that I find the places to film. I use a lot of different methods to locate different places of interest, whether it's research on the internet that I'm able to do through news articles, Wikipedia, of course Google, and various other websites that I utilize from time to time to find locations. And then a lot of things come to you, not the majority, but a decent amount of things come just from being out there in the field and knowing what to look for. So a lot of times you'll see that I pull up at a location and I'll say that, you know, I've just spotted it, and you know, it's really just sometimes knowing what to look for. And I've gotten really lucky sometimes just to kind of be looking for the right things. One of the biggest ones I've had was the Civil War cemetery that I found with just a single marker left in the middle of the woods. And it was a very, very lucky find from looking at some aerial photography and looking and seeing what looked to be a grave, and took the chance and went out there, and it definitely was. But I guess the best way to describe it is it's a very complex process. A lot of different resources are used, and there's no one specific trick to it. And I guess that answers a few other folks' questions as well. So we'll move on from that subject. I'll put your comment up here on the screen if you also asked that, because I definitely want to give you credit for that. However, I obviously can't answer the same thing twice. So the next question comes from Stargazer Girl, and it is, what made you think of visiting cemeteries and abandoned places? And you know, the popular thing on YouTube to say was that, you know, you watched one of the big channels, whether it was Dan Bell, Adam the Woo, Exploring with Josh, and that was an inspiration to make these videos, and that's just not the case with me. And I do still give credit to those people, and I obviously have nothing against them. I have been a avid watcher of Adam the Woo, of Dan Bell, and of Exploring with Josh as well. They've made some amazing content and have really revolutionized the format on YouTube, and I give them their respect and their props, and would love to work with each and every one of them someday. However, I was a purist. I did do urban exploration and abandoned places and graveyards and anything and everything, like I said, urban exploration way before it was popular on YouTube. So I guess in that way, not really, I wouldn't say one of the originals, because I definitely did not make it popular on YouTube, but one of the originals in terms of explorers. I guess Exploring with Josh really made the format on YouTube explode, and so a lot of people got inspiration from that. And maybe in a small way, when I was first starting to think of doing YouTube as a project, and I did see some of his videos. However, if you were to go to the beginning of my urban exploration, you have to go way, way back when Josh was probably still finishing elementary school. I was in a car club, and we used to go and do urban exploration as part of our hobbies. Outside of the car world, we would go and find these places, whether they were abandoned places, whether they were graveyards, or as you've seen me do on the 539 channel, the underground locations, the tunnels and things like that. And that's really where a lot of that started. And even before that, I've always been a traveler. I've always been an adventurer. As you've seen with some of the Kentucky series, that's a place I've spent a lot of my life in. I've walked hundreds of trails, hundreds of miles, and I've done the same back here in the Midwest as well. I've visited so many crazy parks and done so many strange things as a child, including like professional caving and things. So I mean, I've always had that spirit in me. I've always been doing it one way or another, then just kind of evolved from there to where it is today. Emily W. asked, have you ever had anything creepy or unsettling happen? I'm not one to ever exaggerate things, so like some of the haunted bridge episodes where you hear the strange sounds, those are things that actually happened while I was there, whether they can be naturally explained or not. I don't really have any opinion on the paranormal, on whether it's real or whether it's not. I've definitely had a lot of creepy things happen though. Some of the most creepy though are completely explainable. I was on an abandoned road way out in the country, miles from any nearby town, and as we were walking down this road, an entire pack of coyotes we could hear in the distance getting closer and closer and closer, and they were howling and barking, and it sounded like there had to be 30 or 40 of them. I don't really know. I'm not really sure how large of groups they actually travel in, but it sounded like an extremely large number, and they're known to be actually a lot more aggressive than wolves. And so that's probably one of the most unsettling things. And then of course, I mean, there's your usual, a lot of the locations that we go to are somewhat dangerous. Some of them are very high. Some of the bridges that I've crossed have just been extremely unsettling. You know, when you get to the center of this bridge and you're 20-30 feet above the water, and you can see straight through the ties to the water below, and then knowing that you have to be very careful that a lot of these are rotted and are unfirm ground. And so a lot of the places I guess that I go are really unsettling, and then you never know who you're gonna find at some of the places. You never know who's lurking around the corner, and what their intentions are. So some of the run-ins that I've had over the years have been somewhat creepy. I have a few different videos on 539 Productions of people who have literally stopped to intimidate me, who have drove around menacingly, and all kinds of crazy things. And so I guess you could say a lot of the places that I visit have things that happen that are extremely creepy and extremely unsettling. So June Queen asked, what do I do for a living? Since I run 2 channels and this one daily, and it seems that I'm around here quite a lot. Some of you may be wondering, what do I do? And although I don't have a big fancy DSLR, well I do actually, but it wouldn't really work for the YouTube format. However, I am a professional photographer. I was not a professional videographer. I feel that I've gotten exponentially better since I've begun, and my camera equipment is exponentially better since I've begun. But I am actually a professional photographer. I've done real estate photography, I've done rock and roll photography, I've done weddings, I've done fine art photography. I've been represented by fine art galleries, I've been in fine art magazines in Europe. And in addition to that, I'm also a technology consultant. I do a lot of technology. Well, I shouldn't say a lot anymore, but I have done a lot of technology consultation for various companies, some large, some small. I'm not going to name them here, but I do that from time to time. But in terms of what my goals are, it's definitely my goal to do this here full time, and I am definitely putting my full effort into that at the moment. The next question comes from All the Best, and they ask, do I carry a snakebite kit, and also do I ever use the website Find a Grave? The answer is in terms of the snakebite kit, I usually don't carry a snakebite kit. It's hard to explain. A lot of the areas that I film in the Midwest actually don't have a lot of poisonous snakes. I do occasionally go into areas with poisonous snakes, and it probably would be a good idea. However, I don't currently carry one. In terms of Find a Grave, I have used Find a Grave. It's an excellent resource. There's a lot of interesting information you can find on the site about various people and where they're buried, and I do occasionally from time to time go there for inspiration. And they also do a great service, which is to document the graves in a lot of these locations like the ones that I go to, so that they're not lost in the future when those places eventually disappear altogether. Next question comes from Diane, and Diane asked about the tattoos on my hands, which I did touch on in the first Q&A, but I will mention it here really quickly again, and they're just basically a punk rock thing. I used to be in a band for a while, and P&D means punk's not dead. As well as I just kind of like the stars. I like that design, and I'll probably eventually get some more as well. And in terms of the earth in the palm of my hand, I'll leave that one to the other video to explain. The next question comes from Jan, and she asked me what inspired me to take this path. And you know, I've touched on this subject here and there, and you know, really it just kind of comes down to I was never satisfied with the career paths available that would allow me to use my experience with both technology and art. And in terms of art, I mean, you know, my photography, my music, the little bit of video editing experience and videography experience that I had previously to YouTube, and my love for that format. And I really wanted some way to marry all of those together, and I just never could figure out how do you turn that into a career. It just ended up being something where I was doing someone else's work or someone else's artwork, and that's, you know, that's exactly why I didn't like, you know, wedding photography and things like that. It's just, it's someone else's personal experience through my eyes, and I kind of wanted to show the world through my eyes instead of their world through my eyes. And YouTube just seemed to fall into place, and it was something when I saw it, it was like a aha moment where, you know, I was just like, you know, this is where I'm meant to be, this is what I'm meant to do, this is what I would absolutely love to do for the rest of my life. The next question comes from Martha, and she asks, am I going to explore with my dad again? And the answer to that is a definite yes. We'll be going down to that area in the south again and exploring more parts of that, including possibly some parts of West Virginia, and then Kentucky and Tennessee again. I think we're going to go down there again this year. I'm hoping to actually get some interviews with some of my various family members that used to live in the 4 Mile ghost town, and get their experiences and their opinions on that, and how they feel that it affected their lives and that area in general. And I hope to have quite a few more videos coming from there. The next question comes from Nameless T-shirt, and they ask what I do outside of YouTube, and I'm assuming that's like, you know, sort of like hobbies, and they mentioned playing guitar and singing, which yeah, I do that when I get the chance. I don't pick up the guitar as often as I would like, and I want to start picking it up a lot more for this channel. And of course, I guess whenever I get a chance, I always love to sing as well. Again, something I don't get to do as often as I would like, but I hope that that will increase as well here over the coming year. And other than that, as I've alluded to with my career, I'm also into technology. I do occasionally do some gaming, but very little. But I mean, it's difficult to explain my relationship with technology. But I mean, I've always been into building computers. I've done some programming. I've done some crazy wireless networking things that I might talk about here in the future. And I've also been part of some various technology security competitions, and I'll talk more about that later as well. That's an interesting subject, but definitely deserves an entire video to cover. Becca M asked, how did you choose 539? And I did make a video actually about that on the 539 Productions channel, so if you want the entire explanation, I would head over there and find that one. However, I'll give you a quick little rundown. It's basically a mixture of sort of a math problem, not really a math problem, but it's an old hacker term from the 1990s, came out of chat rooms, usually is seen as 1337 or elite, and it means elite, just referring to the fact that I'm trying to bring the best possible productions that I can to YouTube. I'm trying to do the best work that I'm able to do, and really put my all into each video and bring an hopefully a little bit of an artistic side to the urban exploration films. And so that's pretty much what that means. Now, how do we get from 1337 to 539? That's converting from base 10, which is what we normally count in, 1 through 10, to base 16, which is a whole explanation altogether. So if you want to see me talk about converting numbers between different bases, then I would again refer you to that first video that I did on 539 Productions. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to say this right. This question comes from Kool-Aid, I believe, 265, wanting to know what my natural hair color is. Honestly, if you look at any of the Kentucky series on 539 Productions, that's my actual natural hair color, kind of a dark brown, or you know, everything on the side right now is completely natural. Everything on top is colored red. But I do have kind of a half and half natural and unnatural hair color right now. And I keep losing the question. I don't know why, but I can never find the comment when I'm actually trying to look for it. But this little black square here in the middle of the skull, a few different people have mentioned it, and it is the floppy disk filter. It seemed like it would blend in a little bit, and it was the same color when looking at it straight on, and it was an easy place to not lose it. So I taped it up there after I got done filming that episode, so in case I ever wanted to throw it on my Canon again and use it for some episode to get kind of that creepy burnt out effect, I would always have it there, and it wouldn't get lost in some drawer somewhere. So the next question comes from Joseph Jr. and many other people who are asking what happened to Adam. And Adam has his own projects other than YouTube, and he's currently concentrating on that, and he is a good friend of mine that occasionally comes out and explores with me. However, right now he is concentrating on his career and his upcoming marriage, and so more power to him and the best of luck to him there in the future. So that's really the only explanation there, nothing sinister and nothing too dramatic. So thank you for the question though. And with that, we have finally concluded, although a little bit late, the most recent Q&A video. I want to thank you all for watching, and we will do this again once we have hit the 1,000 mark. And so I look forward to making that third Q&A for you guys, and that'll be quite the celebration for us here on my story to finally pass that 1,000 mark, as we did quite some time ago on the 539 Productions channel, and now have hit well past the 10,000 mark on there. And so I want to thank each and every one of you that has been in the first 500 or so people that are watching this video here now, and look forward to bringing you plenty of amazing content coming over the next year, and can't wait to see how big we can grow in 2018. Thank you all again for the amazing questions. If I somehow missed one, I truly do apologize, and I will get to it in the next Q&A, or maybe I'll sneak it into the next daily vlog that we do here. I definitely don't want to exclude anybody, but I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow.